Hello and welcome to another Overpaid Over the Bar video with me, Anthony. Looking back at Game Week 27, forward to Game Week 28. In this video, I'm also going to examine why we should wildcard in Game Week 32 if we haven't already wildcarded, of course. And I'm going to be looking at the kind of typical mistakes all FPL managers should avoid because I've been making some, let's be honest. The last couple of weeks, my decision making has been pretty bad, and I'm also talking about this game week that coming, the transfer already made. So I'm going to talk about why I did it and also how that kind of mistake can happen if you let your emotions dominate your thinking. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look at game week 27 in terms of my team. Well, it wasn't great. For the second time this season, I scored below the average points, and a lot of my players, well, I mean, you look at that back line in the midfield, there's absolutely nothing except for DEFCON's. Schwab Pedro got a goal, and Haaland got an assist, and I captained Haaland. Other people captained Schwab Pedro. So on my bench, Fair got a clean sheet. Dallo got a clean sheet. I left Ryan on the bench thinking he might struggle to score in that fixture, and he didn't. He did get DEFCONs, but I really made a mistake here. So the first thing I did last week, was to at the last minute panic because I had Renildo ready to play in my defence for Sunderland, and he got injured and he's out for 3 weeks. So I bought another Sunderland defender, Alderete. Did I need to do that? No. Okay. That's the first thing I want to say. I could have played True Fair instead. Why did I need to make that transfer? It's a transfer that I need to use later to get rid of players that are not playing in game week 31. And that's why I went there. And not only that, you'll see later I've done something similar this week. So I'm not looking good at the minute. Obviously, my overall rank is amazing. It's 19K. Anybody would be happy with that. I'm just a little bit worried for this week and next week because of the decisions I've made. Okay, let's have a look at the over the bar table. Have you noticed that teams now get their team badge? I don't know if this is a new thing. I've only just noticed it now. Excuse me. Teams get their badge next to their league position in the league tables, which I love. It's great. So if you haven't got a team badge, it's about time you got one because it makes your position in the league look more important. The only player that I really think is worth mentioning this week, I mean, Jake Wadsley did very well. John Holloway's nephew, also a Saints fan like John. Keith Harper, who got 67, he's had some bad luck recently. Always makes a lot of transfers. He took 2 hits this week, so that's a -8. So it's really 59, but some great choices here. He brought in O'Reilly. Not many people in our mini league have him, but if you have O'Reilly, you're very, very happy. He has 3 Liverpool players, Kanate, Bowen, and Wirtz. Wirtz got injured. I don't know who came in for Wirtz, but maybe he got lucky there. And he brought in Palmer and Captain Palmer. Now that turned out to be a mistake in the end because Palmer has difficult fixtures from this week on, and he blanked apart from the clean sheet at home to Burnley, which is a big surprise. So that wasn't that wasn't very lucky. Okay. Oh, the other one I want to mention. Let's not forget Adam Speak. Now, Adam Speak has not made any transfers this season. He's in position 6.3 million, which is literally halfway up the league. So he's not made one transfer. The reason why he hasn't made any transfers is because when Eze signed for Arsenal, he already had 3 Arsenal players and he wanted to have 4. So he thought, okay, I'm not going to make any more transfers the rest of the season. I'll have 4 Arsenal players for the rest of the season. Now, for a lot of that time, that hasn't really worked out because Eze and Gyökeres haven't really been pulling in the points. But this may change because last week they both played and they both hauled. And he's obviously Gabriel and Saka are great choices. So he may even look to put this rank up even higher with players like Wirtz in this team. Excuse me, also available. That really is a potentially very good team. So also congratulations to Adam and Rachel. Adam and Rachel speak because They have a new baby. So it's just as well he doesn't have to make any FPL transfers because his time is truly taken up with that. So congratulations, Adam, on the new arrival in your family. Uh, Kath sent me the photos, so I can see you're doing very well. All right, so fixtures for game week 28. Now, Bournemouth at home to Sunderland. I'm happy about this. I've got two Bournemouth players. Sunderland are not very good away from home. Aston Villa at Wolves. If you haven't sold your Aston Villa assets already, hold on to Morgan Rogers. You might get something there. Liverpool home to West Ham. West Ham are very much improving, and Somerville is looking great for West Ham. Unfortunately, West Ham's fixtures are not much good. He'd be a good option otherwise. Liverpool at home, you'd fancy them. Wirtz may or may not be fit for this. We don't know. Newcastle home to Everton. I mean, Newcastle have got injury problems, but Everton are not great. That'll be an interesting one. I don't have either. I don't have any assets from either of those teams. Leeds and Manchester City. Now, the corresponding fixture at the Etihad was 3-2 to Manchester City. But if you remember, Leeds came back from a 2-0 deficit to go for 2-2. This is where Manchester City's form was not great, of course, and their formation has completely changed since then. But Haaland was kind of frozen out of that game. He didn't get a look in against the Leeds centre backs. So I'm not sure about captaining Haaland for this one. But obviously, Manchester City assets are attractive at Leeds. But I don't know if this is going to be as easy as it could be. I think Leeds are a very good team at the minute. I don't see them going down at all. And defensively, they're strong. They have a good defensive midfield. So have a look at that one. Brighton, Nottingham Forest. I said last week that Brighton fans wanted the manager out and they're all over the place. Well, they promptly went and won at Brentford, who everyone was buying players from. So at home to Forest. Forest are looking not bad at all in the relegation zone, but they just don't look like a relegation team. It's a bit strange with Forest. They may still pick up, but let's see. Fulham at home to Spurs. Now, a lot of people are getting into Fulham because game week 31 they have a good fixture when it's a blank. And Spurs still look rubbish. Honestly, I don't think they're out of the question in terms of relegation. So you might want to get a Fulham player in for this week. That's my suggestion. Manchester United at home to Palace. Now, Palace, again, looking rough at the moment. They did win last week, but they won partly because their opposition had a red card. Who were they playing? Wolves had a red card. And I don't think the Palace fans, they're really unhappy right now. I just think Manchester United might do them. Although, of course, Manchester United never like playing when they have a lot of possession, and Palace will give them a lot of possession. So it's not an ideal fixture for Manchester United. They prefer teams to come at them. But they did fine at Everton, and Everton play similar game. I mean, they won the game. Arsenal at home to Chelsea. This is a big test for Arsenal. I'm not sure. I'm really not 100% confident they're going to just breeze past Chelsea. And the corresponding fixture at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea went down to 10 men quite early, but still drew 2-2. So you wouldn't write off Chelsea from getting something here, at least a draw. I mean, it's a big, big game for Arsenal. I'm probably going to play two of my three Arsenal assets for this, but you may want to bench a defender for this fixture. That's up to you. Okay, now game week 31 is a blank, but there is still a chance. I've been getting more information about this. There's still a chance that the Manchester City fixture could be moved to this game week. Now, I think it's Man City against Palace could be moved to this game week. Now, it is dependent on a couple of things. Firstly, that Newcastle beat Manchester City in the FA Cup, I think, and also that Manchester City lose to Real Madrid. If they get Real Madrid or whoever they get in the Champions League, there's a possibility they'll get Madrid. So it's a very small chance, but it is a chance, okay, just to make you aware that your Manchester City assets may be valuable in game week 31, but I'm kind of not thinking that's going to happen. So we talked about Game Week 31 last week not being great for clean sheets. We also talked about it not being great for banking on anyone. I just want to look at Game Week 32 because Game Week 31 deadline is Friday, 20th of March, and it finishes on the 22nd of March, the Sunday. Then there is a 3 week gap until 11th of April, which is Game Week 32. And if you look at these fixtures in Game Week 32, Man City are away at Chelsea, Liverpool are home to Fulham, and Arsenal are home to Bournemouth. So these are the fixtures that you're going to be going into following the blank. So what players you'll get in. Now, you may want to wild card here. Why should you do that? Well, first of all, you've got 3 weeks to think about your wild card. Players will be going away on international duty. There will be FA Cup matches in this interim period. You may want to give yourself 3 weeks to juggle around players that look fit or available for this game week 32. The other reason is that very soon there will be double game weeks and blanks following game week 31. So 32, 33, you're looking at double game week and blank, I think. But don't worry about that right now. I'm not sure about the facts, but that is the reason to wildcard. I think the wild card, I think the blank is in 30. Sorry, I think the double is in 33 and the blank is in 34. Just to get my facts straight, I kind of forgot what I was doing right there. So that's why you're wildcarding in 32. I don't think it's a disaster if you have played your wildcard already. Because if you look at this fixture of Chelsea, Man City, you could avoid Manchester City going into the blank. You could also avoid them for this week. So it's Liverpool who you should concentrate on. If you have played your wild card, you should think about having Liverpool because they have good fixtures all the way now, really. They've played all their big games. There's not a lot of fixtures in the whole rest of the season for Liverpool that you don't make them favourites for. I mean, Man United away in 35 is the first one that's in any way tricky. Of course, Liverpool have not had a great season and we can't rely on them to win all their games. But I would say having three Liverpool players, like Keith has, who's already played his wild card, is a very good idea at this point. So that's my main piece of advice for this week. Now, pick team. Look at this. Look what I've done. Okay. So on I got very annoyed with Chelsea. They threw away a 1-0 lead against Burnley. Got a red card like they always do for no reason. It's not like this player's going anywhere. He just gets his second yellow card. I mean, they've done that the whole season. This is the first time I've really suffered because of it. Now, I use the word suffer very loosely. We're not suffering in FPL. This is a game, okay? People do get carried away. But I tell you, I wasn't very happy on Sunday looking at this, thinking, "Oh, what can I do? What can I do? I want to go from Enzo to Wirtz." I nearly transferred in Wirtz on Sunday morning before he pulled up injured in the warm-up on Sunday. I nearly did that, but I couldn't afford to because the prices had gone up and down. Enzo had gone down and Wirtz had gone up or something like that. So I couldn't afford to. So what did I do? Genius. I thought, okay, I need to get rid of another Chelsea player. I'll get rid of my goalkeeper, Sanchez. So I went and bought Darlow for Leeds, who's 3.9. He's playing and he's 3.9. And I like Leeds. I like them. I think they will keep a couple of clean sheets. I think this is a decent transfer, but not this week. Because what I've done is I've used my free transfer. I don't have any other transfers. So there's a lot of stuff in this team I want to change. And I made a transfer. I can't even use the player this week. Darlow's playing at home to Manchester City. I mean, I know most of you are not as stupid as this, but I do think there's a thing we do on the weekend when we see results, we see our teams not doing well, that we make changes early when we should be just sitting there and thinking, okay? So I want you all to learn from my mistake and just reflect. There's always chances of things going different. And then of course, once it gets Thursday, Friday, your whole mindset begins to change. You're not as emotional about it. Don't make changes when you're annoyed with your team. Make changes when you want to bring somebody in, not when you want to get rid of someone. Yeah. Because, all right, Sanchez, yeah, there's a good argument for getting rid of him, but not this week, and not for a player that's not going to be better than Dubravka. I made it to fund another transfer I can't even make this week because I don't have enough transfers. I'm not sure what I was thinking, to be honest. So I've looked at my team in the meantime and thought, should I take a hit? Should I bring one of these players that plays in 31 with good fixtures that will improve my team for this weekend? I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, no, you've learned your lesson. What are the chances of any of these 11 players picking up a return this week? Well, in some cases, not great. I mean, Joao Pedro away at Arsenal, not great. Gabriel home to Chelsea, not bad. I mean, he could score from a corner. Rice at home to Chelsea, maybe he'll only get DEFCONs. Otherwise, I mean, they could all get something. Dubravka home to Brentford. Look, if Brentford score, it might be Thiago. If Brentford don't score, Dubravka gets a clean sheet. That's where I'm looking at it. I know people don't like playing their attacker against their goalkeeper, but in this case, I'm going to do it. I do think Manchester United could keep a clean sheet home to Palace. And if you've got three Man United, I think that's quite good, actually, honestly. I think Man United's a good team to back right now. I'm changing my mind about that. If you watch my videos enough weeks, you'll find I've changed my mind quite a bit. But as long as you put your opinion forcefully, anyone will think you're right. I've learned from Donald Trump. So this is my team going into game week 28. There is a deadline at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow, Friday 27th. Don't miss the deadline. I won't be nothing in that Friday night fixture for me. Wolves, Aston Villa, but maybe you've got Rodgers, maybe you've got another Villa player. Actually, Villa defenders are not that bad at the minute. They usually are, but right now they're not. Then on Saturday we've got an early one with Bournemouth Sunderland. I'll be keenly keeping touch with that one. And then the big game on Sunday, Arsenal against Chelsea. Okay, I just want to say also, I forgot to say, because I mentioned Adam had a baby this week. We got two managers who had a baby this week. The other one is John Wilson, who also had a baby this week. So congratulations to John. My nephews all having babies. I love it. All right. So have a great weekend. Enjoy your try not to beat yourself up if you make a mistake. I've forgiven myself already. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.